I'm going to cut straight to the chase. Update 7.3 is a freaking banger. So we're going to tear through these patch notes so you can get back to gaming as quickly as possible. Let's check them out. The patch notes start off with, it's time to blast off. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, quite possibly the best LTM to ever hit the market. We'll talk more about what this is in just a second, but I gotta say, man, if you haven't played Blast Off yet, you need to load up and you need to get in there because it's an absolute banger. And speaking of bangers, they have improved the destruction. So what they've done here is that they created it, they did something in such a way that when a different structure falls onto a building or another structure, it will crush and destroy the structure. They give us a few examples here in the patch notes, like in Kyoto, the pagoda, or the tall center building with the man cannon in the bottom center of it, it's when it collapses and it falls onto another building, it will then destroy that building. So it's like this mixed modal destruction engine, man. I mean, this is seriously like next gen gaming. No FPS on the market is doing something like this. They give us another example here with Skyway Stadium. The structures in Skyway Stadium have been updated with the new destruction feature, causing them to destroy more realistically. And so essentially with this update, they're dialing up the dynamism, the realism, and the tactical payoff of destruction in several key ways. So for instance, if a crane gets taken down and it falls onto another structure, it will then destroy the structure of which it falls on. So that's pretty dope. It just adds to the mayhem, adds to the chaos. And last but not least, they have destruction visuals. So the visuals of the damaged edges around destroyed surfaces have been improved. The size of these visuals have been reduced so that the players can make better judgments about where the damage is. These visuals are also more consistent, seamless, and appear more accurately. This is all part of an effort to improve clarity and to help players quickly see the cause and effect of their interaction with the environment. But here's the thing, not all maps are getting the same treatment. So some of these new dynamic structure elements will be implemented in some of the maps, but not all of the maps. And we just don't know exactly which ones, but we could probably say obviously Skyway Stadium and Kyoto. And probably like Monaco, anything with a crane or something, I'm guessing is getting the same treatment. Now, one thing that did drop with 7.3 is the Twitch drop. So watch your favorite streamer on Twitch right now, and your drops are eligible. We have an M26 Matter, a Cerberus, and the Shaq 50. So jump on Twitch. Here they are, the beautiful Twitch drops. Take a look at them. Ooh, we got a little sticker too. The Imposker. Bro, that sticker goes hard in the paint. So tune in, and I don't know, I be streaming. So if you want to check me out on Twitch, go ahead to Gumbuck Gaming or twitch.com, or wait, no, twitch.tv/Gumbuck Gaming to earn these Twitch drops now. And speaking of mic drops, we can now customize our intros and outros. We have a new outro cinematic introduced to the game, and it's really dope. And we could pick a different emote for the intro and the outro. It is absolutely cool. You can check it out. Select separate intros and outro winner emotes, and yeah, go. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. I like that. And I don't know about you, but I've been loving the new practice range. Going up against the bots in practice range has been it's just been a blast. I've been playing a lot with Unicorn Slayers. We warm up, and it's been a lot of fun. But I will say, it has gotten pretty sweaty. If you've been doing the big box, you've only been allowed to do one difficulty level, and if you go in there solo, it is really tough. But if you go in there with a team, it can be a lot of fun. So you can now select the difficulty with that. But they also improved the bot intelligence, meaning that I think they will move with different patterns. They will be a little more dynamic, if you will. Maybe that's the theme of this 7.3. It's dynamism. Dynamism? That's a fun word. So yeah, check out Big Box Battle. They've got an easy, now the medium or standard, and then a hard version of that. And it sounds like the dummies are fighting with more brain power. All right, now to the balance changes. Everything that you guys have been waiting for and hoping for, it sounds like, has come to fruition. The H Infuser has got a nerf. You guys wanted to see it, I'm pretty sure, and here it is. The shot of health given has gone from 20 down to 15, so there's that. The healing emitter gets a nerf. Then that's the heavy ball if you didn't know. Essentially, it operates just like the turret now. So when you deploy it, it does not start regenerating until it is destroyed, and you can call it back. So they just added the same function as the turret for the medium, which honestly to me was a good thing. But essentially it's a little bit of a nerf. You can't just throw it willy-nilly everywhere and then easily throw it again because it started to auto regen as soon as you deployed it. That's pretty good. They also changed some cooldown stuff, but you don't really need to know that. And then last but not least was the gateway, and this I thought was a W change. They increased the cooldown on items that travel through the gateway before they can re-enter it. So sometimes if you were using the gateway to transfer a vault, the vault would pop, it would go through the gateway, and then it would go right back through the gateway before you could even grab it sometimes. So they altered that time duration a little bit. So once something goes through the gateway, it can't go through or can't go back through the gateway for up to 1 second. And I think that was a quality of life change. So that's pretty dope. Now we're going to talk about the weapons. So I'm not going to read every single one of these because they went through basically every single weapon in the game, and they changed the equip and unequip time. And these times are nominal. They are minuscule. They are very small changes. And so essentially what that means is like they changed, if you don't have the weapon selected, they altered, either increased or decreased the time it takes for the weapon to be pulled out once you push the button to pull the weapon out. So they either sped up some of them or slowed some of them down. And then the unequip time. So meaning if you were to switch from your weapon to a utility, they changed the duration of how quickly that weapon goes away. So either they go away faster or they go away slower. And it's nominal. These changes, we're talking milliseconds of changes. You probably are only going to really feel a difference. Like if you have 2,000 hours on the AKM, you might notice this. But honestly, not really that big of a deal. I don't think you really care. So I'm going to move on to something you do care about, which is the CL-40 Nerf. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children, dogs, and cats, let's rejoice. Can I get a amen? They increased the self-damage multiplier from 1.25 to 1.35. Basically, at the end of the day, it's going to hurt you to barrel stuff more with the CL-40 than it previously did. They also decreased the inner blast radius, so you have to be more accurate. It dropped to 10 centimeters, but you do have to be more accurate. Now, here's the interesting thing that they said in their dev note. We've seen an increase in CL-40 usage since the healing emitter arrived in the game, and while we think the CL-40 should be somewhat a hard counter to team clustered around the emitter, it's slightly too effective at very close ranges and without requiring very much accuracy. These changes address those specific cases without hurting the CL-40's general effectiveness. Now, I kind of think this was an unintended consequence. This was a result of the new healing meta and a response to that. A response to the healing infuser being very strong, because with the CL-40, you can kill lights rather easily. And also a response to heavies doubling up, throwing up barricades, and camping in a corner. Now, you're in a rock and a hard place, Embark. I kind of get it here. So like remember when CL-40s were at the peak of their noob tubeness? And they were really, really strong, and everybody was using them, and everybody hated it at the same time. Like, nobody liked that type of meta, I guess, but the CL-40 users were loving it. And so this unintended consequence has kind of like caused an uptick in CL-40 use, and it can be kind of annoying. I mean, I get it. So it's tough. You've implemented a new meta. Quite frankly, I think it's really disrupted how the sandbox behaves. And as a result, we've seen a lot more CS-40 use. Now, two last things before we move on in terms of weapons is the Sledgehammer got a little bit of a buff. They increased the height of the primary attack sweep, and they make this attack more reliable. So I think it's got essentially a greater hitbox, which is a little bit of a buff for the hammers out there. And the new weapon system. So they temporarily disabled the new weapon system to fix major bugs. Now, what is the weapon system and what are we talking about here? So essentially we had different weapon bugs where maybe the weapon wouldn't shoot, or different zooms with the scopes when you would pull them up. And there is some laggy feedback, there was some hit reg issues, and so that's what they're kind of referring to when they talk about the weapon system. So with the new weapon system, they were experiencing maybe even more issues, so temporarily they turned it off. So we're kind of having a back and forth, and I've detected some of this. It does feel different to me, and I don't know. That's all I'll say about that. So if the game is feeling funky, this is probably why. All right, folks, now what we've all been waiting for is the LTM Blast Off. It's a rocketing limited time mode where low gravity is always on and everyone plays as a medium with evasive dash and an explosive locked-in loadout fine-tuned to make you and your opponents go kaboom. So everybody's a medium, everybody has one dash in their specialization. You've got, of course, the CL-40, the jump pad, APS turret, and a rocket launcher. That's right, folks, a rocket launcher on the medium. Essentially, the map is on Bernal. You have a bunch of man cannons sprinkled everywhere, and this game mode is freaking crazy. They added pixelation to the visuals. So essentially, they wanted us to feel some nostalgia for the older unks out there like myself. Give some of that Doom, some of that Quake feel. We have a new announcer who sounds very much like the Quake announcer. And it's just a fast-paced, rocketing, double jumping, just high octane madness. It is so freaking fun. I absolutely love it. It took me a few games to get the hang of it. I was actually playing with Oscar and Jinko on stream, and I was kind of getting the floor wiped with me the first couple of games. And it wasn't until I got to probably around my 10th game that I started to figure it out and got just totally turned up the dial. This mode is a freaking blast. It's got a ton of nostalgia feels. It's totally fun. The only thing I thought, I don't know, maybe this would make it more fun, maybe not. I was kind of surprised to see it's only 3v3. Maybe a 5v5 would have been more fun, but also, or maybe even like a quick cash thing, like a 3v3v3, but I don't really know. Nonetheless, I am having a blast, pun totally intended, with Blast Off. And of course, we can earn some rewards while playing this, and here they are. We've got skins, we've got stickers. Of course, we've got a CL-40 skin, because obviously. Then we've got a full set and kit that you can end through the contracts, a charm, a sticker, a wall paint, and a noise thingy. I wish I could click on it to show you guys, but I can't. But this ends July 17th, and the contracts are pretty simple, pretty easy. As you can see, I'm almost done here, and then we've got a stage 2 that we don't know what it is yet. But folks, if you've not played this, give it a shot. It may be for you, it may not be for you, but yeah, I guess that's it. It's for me. I'll say that. It's totally for me. And that does it for this week's 7.3 update. If you've made it to the end of the video, you're a certified G. Thank you for watching. Tune into my Twitch streams to get the drops. They're enabled right now. We've got some giveaways. I've got multi-buck giveaways that Embark has given me to give to you. So be sure to check that out, and we'll see you in the next one.